It's interesting because Player and Thuram, and I know obviously Thuram came off the bench, Player started the game. Neither of them for me have been super, super prolific. And it does feel like at times Gladbach needs someone to be that super prolific forward. It's sort of the goals, and I'd be curious to hear what you think, but like sort of the goals are sort of shared among the forwards. And Mbola when he's fit, Thuram, Player, Stindl, they all sort of share, but they don't have that player who's going to get you maybe 15, 20 goals. It's sort of like 12 each, 12 each here, 12 each there. So it's interesting that maybe that's sort of what they want Player to be, and that's sort of what I'm looking at this season as one of Player or Thuram, provided, and I've seen there's reports linking Thuram with Inter. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but if they both stay, I guess that's the next step for them, for one of them at least, to become that sort of 15 goal scorer, reliable goal scorer. And you wonder if they were at that stage. I mean, and I know it's sort of they're developing to that stage, but if they were that stage already, maybe one of them would have taken those chances.
I think last season especially, they were not up to scratch. Like none of the, apart from obviously Lars Stindl, and none of the front players were up to scratch at all. And if there is to be a player that I think is able to reach like the heights of Wout Weghorst, Andre Kramaric, because I would say that their potential is probably not as high as obviously the likes of Robert Lewandowski, Erling Haaland, and Andre Silva. I do think Alisson Player is probably, although Marcus Thuram is in the long run the better player, I think if we're going off right now, Alisson Player is the type of person that needs to be reaching those 18, 19, 20 goals a season mark. And I do think it looks a bit more positive because especially last season, that chance that he had against Bayern, which he converted, he missed plenty of them last year. The glaring ones to me were obviously in the Champions League in the game against Real Madrid, the first one, where Gladbach dominated the game but ended up drawing. Not that it mattered in the long run, but that was meant to be one of the greatest nights they've had, beating Real Madrid, but because Alisson Player was unable to really find his shooting boots, it obviously affected them. But I do think now under Adi Hutt especially, I'm not saying Adi Hutt is going to bring out of him what he brought out of Andre Silva, but I do think because he's worked with Andre Silva, he could try and help Alisson Player. And so we'll most likely, hopefully, see Alisson Player hit those higher goal tallies to take the burden off Lars Stindl mainly.